I'm making this video to talk about the situation of the Cubs in the World Series, and this can also be very applicable to not only any team reaching success, but also really any kind of worldly success that people may achieve. I'm going to run through these verses here, which I think can help in situations like this, and then I'm also going to give two short stories at the end, which I think will hopefully highlight the message that I'm trying to get across here. So to begin with, Matthew 6:19-21, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moss and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moss and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. 1 John 2:15, do not love the world or anything in the world. If anyone loves the world, love for the Father is not in them. 1 John 2:17, the world and its desires pass away, but whoever does the will of God lives forever. Colossians 3:1-2, since then you have been raised in Christ, set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Luke 8:14, the seeds that fell among the thorns stands for those who hear, but as they go on their way, they are choked by life's worries, riches, pleasures, and they do not mature. The King James Version of Colossians 3:5, mortify your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. Romans 13:13, let us behave decently, as in the daytime, not in carousing, drunkenness, not in sexual immorality and debauchery, not in dissension and jealousy. 1 Corinthians 10:14, therefore, my dear friends, flee from idolatry. Romans 1:22-23, although they claimed to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of immortal God for images made to look like mortal human beings and birds and animals and reptiles. So I like thinking about these verses when it comes to worldly successes that I may be caught up in, especially right now with the Cubs being in the World Series. And obviously, I'm coming at you guys from this perspective as a Cubs fan. So the two stories that I want to get across to further highlight what I'm trying to say here is first when the Cubs won the championship series recently. Right after the game, I was obviously very happy for the Cubs. I was joyful, in a very good mood. I went out to get some pizza, and it was a very cheap slice, just like junk food, bad pizza. Shortly after that, it gave me a stomach ache, and I just felt really physically bad. And it completely took away all the joy that I had from the Cubs, which is kind of hard to believe. But while I had that stomach ache, I no longer really thought about the Cubs in the World Series. I was just in a bad mood because I had a really bad stomach ache. And the second story I want to tell is that I have a brother, sister-in-law, and they have two kids. And every time I go over to their house, which is frequently, I can't get in a few steps into their house without their kids sprinting over to me, flinging themselves in the air, and giving me flying hugs. And it's awesome. I love it. One time I went there and I had fast food on the way over there. And while at their house, again, I got a stomach ache. I just felt really bad. Uh, just physically, just felt awful. But that time, that physical bad feeling couldn't even touch the joy I felt of their love. So I tell these two stories just to highlight the difference between joy of the world, worldly joy, and love that is of God, or treasures of heaven. I'm not sure if I'm saying this the right way, but the difference between love, something that is of the kingdom of the Lord, and worldly joy. So the worldly joy can be taken away at any time something goes wrong in the world, whereas in love, something of heaven, a heavenly treasure, cannot be taken away or touched by problems of the world. And so I just want to give those two stories and compare them to really highlight what I'm trying to give across in this video. So I hope someone got something out of this, and thank you very much.